Take a slow breath and stay here for a moment, because this is not noise and this is not coincidence. This is one of those quiet intersections in life where timing and awareness meet, and when they do, something gentle but powerful begins to shift inside you. The phrase, "time is running out," is not meant to frighten you, it is meant to awaken you, because awareness always arrives before change, and clarity always comes before peace. Right now, life may feel busy on the outside and heavy on the inside, as if you are constantly moving yet not fully arriving anywhere, thinking deeply but not always finding answers, caring a lot yet feeling unseen at times. Heaven paying attention does not mean something dramatic has to happen, it means you are being noticed in your stillness, in your quiet endurance, in the prayers you whispered without words, and in the strength you showed on days when no one clapped for you. These 8 minutes are not about counting down seconds, they are about creating space. Space to listen without rushing, space to feel without judging, space to remember that you are not disconnected even when life feels silent. Many people mistake silence for absence, but silence is often where guidance speaks most clearly. What you are sensing right now is not urgency, it is invitation. You have carried questions in your heart that you rarely speak out loud. Questions about direction, about purpose, about whether the effort you are putting in will ever be seen or rewarded. Heaven paying attention means those questions have weight, and your journey has meaning even when the road feels ordinary. Nothing about your patience has been wasted, and nothing about your struggle has been ignored. If you listen closely, you will notice that this moment feels different from scrolling past another message. There is a pause happening inside you, a soft pull asking you to stay just a little longer. That pull is not pressure, it is alignment. Alignment with truth, with calm, with the understanding that you do not need to chase signs when awareness itself becomes the sign. Sometimes change does not arrive loudly or instantly. Sometimes it begins when you finally stop overthinking and allow yourself to trust the timing that is unfolding. Heaven paying attention means you are allowed to slow down without guilt, to choose peace without explanation, and to believe that clarity can arrive gently rather than forcefully. In these minutes, let go of the idea that you must do more to be worthy. You are already seen in your sincerity, in your kindness, in the way you keep going even when motivation fades. Awareness is not about fixing yourself, it is about recognizing that you were never broken to begin with. The more present you become, the more guidance becomes clear. What is unfolding is not about loss or fear, it is about readiness. Readiness to release what no longer serves you, readiness to receive insight instead of anxiety, readiness to move forward without carrying unnecessary weight. This is how inner shifts begin, quietly, honestly, and without forcing outcomes. Stay with this moment. Let it settle. Let it remind you that timing is not always about clocks, it is about alignment. When awareness arrives, transformation follows naturally. You do not need to rush the future when the present is already offering you clarity. And if you feel even a small sense of calm while listening, that is your sign that this message reached you exactly when it needed to. If you are still here, it means something inside you chose awareness over distraction, and that choice itself already matters more than you realize. Most people rush past moments like this because slowing down feels uncomfortable, but you stayed, and staying is often the first quiet act of courage. Heaven paying attention is not about watching mistakes or counting failures, it is about noticing sincerity, and sincerity shows itself when someone is willing to pause and truly listen. There are seasons in life where answers do not arrive as clear directions, but as gentle inner nudges, subtle feelings, and repeated moments of reflection. This is one of those seasons. You may not have everything figured out, but you are becoming more aware of what no longer fits your soul, and that awareness is not random. It is preparation. Preparation for clarity, for peace, and for a way forward that feels lighter than the paths you have walked before. You have carried responsibilities silently, held emotions together when they felt like falling apart, and continued showing up even when motivation was low. Many times you wondered if anyone noticed your effort, if the patience you practiced would ever lead somewhere meaningful. What you are sensing now is reassurance, not in loud promises, but in calm certainty. Nothing you have endured has been meaningless, and nothing you have learned has been wasted. These minutes are reminding you that you are allowed to release constant pressure. Life does not always require you to push harder, sometimes it asks you to soften and trust. Trust does not mean giving up control blindly, it means understanding that clarity grows when the mind is calm and the heart is open. When you stop forcing answers, they begin to reveal themselves naturally. Heaven paying attention also means that your inner world matters just as much as your outer progress. The thoughts you nurture, the way you speak to yourself, the patience you show when things move slowly, all of it shapes what comes next. This is why awareness is so powerful. Once you see clearly, you cannot unknow what you have learned, and that clarity begins to guide your decisions quietly but firmly. You may notice that lately you are less drawn to noise and more drawn to meaning. Less interested in proving things and more interested in understanding them. This is not withdrawal, this is growth. Growth often looks like simplification, choosing depth over speed, and peace over constant reaction. Heaven notices these shifts because they mark alignment between who you are becoming and where you are meant to go. Sometimes you look back and realize how much you have changed, even if the world around you stayed the same. You are more reflective now, more selective with your energy, more aware of what drains you and what restores you. That awareness did not appear overnight. It was shaped by experiences, lessons, and moments of quiet realization just like this one. As you continue listening, let go of the idea that transformation has to be dramatic. Real change is often subtle. It begins when you stop rushing your own healing, when you stop comparing your timeline to others, and when you allow progress to look gentle instead of intense. Heaven paying attention does not rush you, it supports you at your pace. This part of the journey is about grounding yourself. About recognizing that you are already on the path, even if you cannot yet see the destination clearly. Trust grows when you acknowledge how far you have already come. You are not starting from zero, you are continuing with wisdom gained through experience. If your heart feels a little lighter while reading this, that is alignment. If your mind feels calmer, that is clarity settling in. Stay present with it. This moment is not asking you to decide everything right now, it is asking you to stay aware, stay open, and stay connected to the quiet guidance unfolding within you. At this stage of your journey, something subtle but important is happening inside you. You are no longer seeking loud confirmations or dramatic signs. Instead, you are beginning to trust quiet understanding. This shift may feel unfamiliar because the world often teaches us to chase noise, urgency, and constant reassurance. Yet what you are experiencing now is deeper than noise. It is a steady inner grounding that grows when you finally allow yourself to slow down and listen without pressure. There are moments when life gently asks you to stop carrying everything alone. You may not have realized how much weight you were holding until you felt even a small release. This release does not come from answers falling from the sky, but from recognizing that you are supported even in uncertainty. Heaven paying attention does not mean every problem disappears instantly. It means you are no longer unseen while you walk through them. You have reached a point where reflection matters more than reaction. Instead of responding immediately to everything around you, you are learning to pause, breathe, and understand what truly deserves your energy. This is growth that cannot be rushed. It happens when experiences mature into wisdom and when confusion slowly transforms into clarity. Even if the process feels slow, it is unfolding exactly as it should. Many times in the past, you kept moving forward without asking yourself how you were feeling inside. You did what was necessary, what was expected, and what felt responsible. But now, awareness is guiding you to honor your inner state as much as your external duties. This balance is not selfish, it is essential. When your inner world is calm, your outer choices become clearer and more intentional. You might notice that certain thoughts no longer hold the same power over you. Worries that once consumed your mind now pass more gently. Doubts still appear, but they do not stay as long as they used to. This is not because everything is perfect, but because your perspective is changing. You are learning to observe thoughts instead of being controlled by them, and that awareness creates freedom. Heaven paying attention also means that your patience is being shaped, not tested. There is a difference. Testing feels harsh and exhausting, while shaping feels purposeful, even if it is challenging. You are being shaped into someone who can remain steady when answers are delayed, someone who can trust timing without losing hope. That strength does not appear suddenly, it is built through moments like this one. There is a quiet invitation here to reconnect with yourself in a deeper way. To ask gentle questions instead of demanding immediate solutions. To sit with uncertainty without letting it turn into fear. When you do this, clarity arrives naturally, often in ways you did not expect. Sometimes through a realization, sometimes through a sense of peace, and sometimes simply through knowing what no longer feels right. You may feel drawn to simplicity now. To fewer distractions, fewer explanations, and more meaningful moments. This is not withdrawal from life, it is alignment with what matters. As you align, you may notice that your intuition becomes sharper and your decisions feel more grounded. This is not coincidence. It is the result of awareness taking root. What you are experiencing is not an ending, it is a transition. A movement from surviving to understanding, from reacting to choosing, from carrying everything to trusting that support exists even when unseen. Heaven paying attention does not rush you forward, it walks with you, quietly reminding you that you are not behind, you are becoming. Stay with this awareness. Let it deepen rather than fade. You do not need to label it or explain it to anyone else. Just notice how it feels to be present, calm, and receptive. This presence is preparing you for what comes next, not by force, but by understanding. As you continue, remember that clarity grows in silence, strength grows in patience, and peace grows in trust. You are not required to have all the answers right now. You are only asked to stay open, grounded, and aware. That is enough for this moment. By now, you may feel a quiet shift settling within you, not loud or dramatic, but steady and reassuring. This is the moment where understanding begins to replace uncertainty, where you stop searching outside and start recognizing what has already been forming inside you. Nothing needs to be forced here. What is meant to stay will feel calm, and what is meant to leave will slowly lose its grip. This is how alignment often arrives, softly, without pressure, without noise. You may notice that your breath feels different when you slow down and allow stillness. In this stillness, clarity does not rush you, it meets you where you are. The idea of time running out is not meant to create urgency or fear, but awareness. Awareness that each moment is valuable, that presence matters more than rushing, and that attention given to your inner life changes how everything else unfolds. Heaven paying attention is not about watching your mistakes, it is about supporting your growth. At this stage, reflection becomes a source of strength rather than doubt. You begin to understand why certain paths closed and why some delays were necessary. Not everything was meant to work out the way you expected, because something more aligned was quietly forming. This understanding does not erase past confusion, but it transforms it into wisdom. You are no longer defined by what didn't happen, you are shaped by what you learned. There is also a gentle invitation here to forgive yourself. For moments when you felt lost, when you reacted instead of listened, when you carried guilt or self-doubt longer than necessary. Forgiveness is not forgetting, it is releasing the weight that no longer serves you. As you release it, you create space for peace to settle naturally, without effort. Peace does not demand perfection, it grows through acceptance. You may feel called to simplify now, to choose quality over quantity, depth over distraction, meaning over noise. This does not mean withdrawing from life, it means engaging with it more consciously. When you choose awareness, your decisions become clearer, your relationships more balanced, and your inner world more stable. This is not something others need to understand. It is something you need to feel. Heaven paying attention also reminds you that you are allowed to trust timing, even when you do not see the full picture. Timing is not punishment, it is preparation. What arrives before you are ready can overwhelm you, and what arrives after you grow can feel like a gift. You are not late. You are not early. You are exactly where you need to be to receive understanding instead of confusion. As this message comes toward its close, let yourself stay with the calm it offers. Do not rush to label it or move past it. Sit with it for a moment. Notice what feels lighter. Notice what feels clearer. Notice what no longer feels urgent. These are signs that awareness is doing its work quietly, effectively, and gently. What comes next in your life does not need fear to begin, it needs presence. It needs you grounded, open, and willing to listen to yourself with honesty. When you move forward from this place, your steps may be slower, but they will be steadier. And steadiness is what carries you through change with grace. You do not need to remember every word from this message. You only need to remember how it made you feel. Calm, aware, and supported. That feeling is enough to guide you through what comes next. That if this message resonated with you even a little, pause for a moment and let that feeling settle. You can share one word in the comments that describes how you feel right now. Sometimes naming the feeling helps it stay. If you want more messages that bring calm, clarity, and understanding, subscribe and stay connected. And if you feel this could help someone else slow down and breathe, share it with them. Quiet messages often reach the hearts that need them most.